Well, hello. Fancy seeing you here. Inception. This is my YouTube channel. Can we just have a moment for my new branding? It's by Kel Lauren, iconic designer of so many artists that you love merch. I'm really obsessed with this like refined, elegant, minimalist design. Love it. I wanted to do something interesting here. Taylor is always getting meta in her Taylor verse. She's reacting to herself. She's responding to herself. So today I am going to do the exact same thing. I am going to react to my Tortured Poets Department predictions. These predictions, by the way, I never watch back. I actually never watch back any of my videos just because I'm always like in the churn of making a new one. So I don't really have like time to sit back and watch the older ones. And also it's just kind of weird to like stare at yourself on camera for that long. I already do it with editing. But my Tortured Poets Department predictions, I imagine were pretty insane because I had to turn it around so quickly. It was like the track list came out and I immediately filmed my first instinct reactions. Like I sat there, I let the spirit move me to write whatever nonsense I had to write about the songs. I was moving so fast that I got two of the names of the songs wrong. Fresh Out the Summer and Footnote. Okay, are either of those songs on the Tortured Poets Department? No, they're made up songs that exist in my world. So I think that it would be fun to like go through and react to my predictions, see what came true, see what was wrong, see what was right. And if you like these kinds of videos, let me know because I have so many different videos that I could do like little reactions to. So let's just take a risk and try something new and see if you guys like it. First of all, who is that? Who is that? That was from earlier this year. And I feel like I look so different. I'm like tanner. My hair is longer. Okay, I was just gonna try and get over the fact that that's not me. It's just based off vibes alone. I was convinced this would be like a down-tempo album, but I think we're probably looking at something a little bit more was I wrong about that?
With some really high moments throughout. We've look at what's been successful over the past few years, particularly paying attention to the organically viral songs that she didn't force to be popular.
Such as?
So that is It Over Now, All of the Girls, and Cruel Summer. And those are all bops and bangers. It would not surprise me if there were more than a few really high energy moments throughout this record.
Well, you're gonna be surprised.
Now let's get into my predictions, specifically based off of each song. Now this is mental illness. I just want to let you know.
It is.
This is complete delusional speculation. This is me tuning into my deepest habada tevudu self. So take it all with a grain of salt.
And we'll see about that.
Serious. These are just thought
I'll be
starters.
taking it with a grain
The
of
first
salt.
track on this record is called Footnote.
So serious. Dead serious. Like I'm reporting live from the DMZ. I'm saying footnote. Footnote. Could I just ask this idiot if he would like to put his contacts in next time before he tries to analyze a track list of a new Taylor Swift album? This is your job, babe. You have glasses. Put the glasses on. I was working off a screenshot from TikTok. Like I couldn't tell what was being said. So footnote. Now, this is just funny to me. Okay, what did you think Footnote was about?
Post Malone. This is a very interesting word to use to start this
Yes,
record.
it is.
First
It
of all,
is, and she didn't
featuring
use
Post
it.
Malone. I don't really know what to make of him because I don't listen to him very much, but I do know
Period.
that he's kind of like emo mumblecore rap, right? So
Yeah.
I can see this being kind of like
Country
a moody,
also.
vibey, low-key banger to open the record.
Well,
Ideally,
was that
an
wrong?
opening
Moody,
track sets
vibey?
the mood and the tone for this record. Taylor's kind of inconsistent with doing her track list structure.
Clocked.
But honestly,
Clocked.
in hindsight, Lavender Haze did a really good job of setting the scene for Midnight's Confused.
I guess it did.
Melancholic.
Oh,
Meandering.
get her.
Symbolically, the word footnote immediately screeches to me this
This is
feeling
so
of being
weird.
minor or unimportant or like a tiny addendum to a
Well,
person's life.
I
Begging
mean-
for footnotes in the story of your life. Tolerate
I
it.
see what
heard
you're
it,
going for,
already putting
but
dots
you
together.
are
Don't put me in
blind.
the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart. This to me is definitely a symbol of being ignored and feeling unloved. Which
Yeah.
would really makes sense given the
Footnote.
strength of this track list. But also perhaps it could be that maybe she's looking at this relationship that she once viewed to be the end game. Maybe she's now looking at it as a glitch, as a brief interruption rather
Well,
than the be all end all.
Now that wasn't wrong, but it was wrong for this song. And it was about a song title that
Perhaps
didn't
this is a
exist.
song about her perspective.
I would like to
changing,
hear
but
Footnote.
Who knows? The Tortured Poets Department is track 2.
Right, okay,
There's something
let's get into
funny
it.
about this track title, and I mean like haha funny. Taylor can at times have a very
Okay.
dry and dark sense of humor, and I'd like
Well,
to
yes,
believe
well,
that she'll be
yes.
making light of her heartache and perhaps poking fun
He
at herself.
ate 7
and the
bars of
reputation she
chocolate,
has for
declared
talking about her
Charlie
heartbreak
Puth would
lot.
be a
There's
bigger
something here about
artist.
returning to a place that she once worked, because she really did used to live as a tenured professor.
Okay, returning to a place you once worked. I'm trying to think of the lyrics of the Tortured Poets Department now. You left your typewriter at my apartment. Not really. I mean, it's not about work. It's more about like kindred spirits, but I'll let you
As a
I'll let you
songwriter
spill.
in the Tortured Poets Department. Could this be about her revisiting that past part of herself, winding up back
No.
in this position after thinking she had moved on from it forever
It's not
and
diva.
gone to the different academic specialty of
Wow, I
food,
really
light,
can make a
burning
lot
love
out
that's
of
golden
nothing,
like
huh?
daylight.
I can just
Something
talk.
about thwarted expectations, about a tragic love. And I think sonically it would be mid-tempo.
Who
thoughtful, and
else will
expansive.
know you?
My boy only breaks his favorite toys. Now this is where we start to cook. This is where it starts getting interesting. This is a
Okay.
song about a man-child, some guy who really thinks he's got a
That's not wrong. That's not wrong. I mean, she does infantilize him in this song by playing with toys and being her best friend.
all sewn up, who thinks
Sure.
that he can play people like a fiddle, make them dance and sing to his every whim.
Well-
believe that Taylor was under the spell of such a turkey for some period of time.
Okay,
and
now-
look, she changed.
I forgot. The entire premise of me creating these predictions was that it was about Joe Alwyn. So every song is mediated through my understanding of that relationship. It's interesting to see how many of the like thematic things will be right, but the details wrong.
Her whole outlook and approach to being famous to be with this certain turkey. There is something very psychotic and insecure that
Not the
damaged
turkey.
men do, which is take out their insecurities or frustrations with themselves on others, especially their beloved female partners.
Well,
Think about it.
yes.
It's moronic to break your favorite toy, but a person with little healthy coping mechanisms can only destroy. They can't create or foster anything good or take care of something. So I think this song could be about the slow accumulation of grudges and resentments.
Now hold on. I'm spitting. I am spitting. I am speaking facts like you wouldn't believe. I mean, when we look at the first verse, oh, here we go again. The voices in his head called the rain to end our days of wild. Girl, I was kind of right. Your insecurity, your inferiority complex leads you to breaking things that you love. You don't have any healthy coping mechanisms. I mean,
Every morning I glared at you with storms in my eyes. There's something here about being willfully blind to the reality of a situation and being
no,
so
there isn't.
confident
Because the
in your
person that
own
was willfully
gravitas.
blind actually in this scenario was Taylor Swift. She was the one being willfully blind. But
Think you can behave
let you roll.
however you like with someone and get away with it. Production wise, to me, this is giving Now That We Don't Talk. I don't know why, I just feel
Now That We Don't Talk and My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, no, girl. This is when I thought that the album was going to be like really different sonically to Midnight's. I was like, it's going to be so completely opposite. Well,
that sassy bop. I just feel it. Down bad. Now, no one wants to be down bad. Wouldn't wish it on my own worst enemy.
and that's true. Did Taylor Swift want to be down bad? No. Teenage petulance. I might just die. It would make no difference. She didn't want to. Spill it.
Especially not for a man. To be down bad is to basically ignore all signs of rational objectivity because you are literally so transfixed by a person that you cannot look away despite all the warning signs that are telling you to.
Well, yes. Not talking about transfiguration when the song ended up being about aliens. Hello, abductions. Okay, maybe the nothing knower is a something knower.
Run. My mother accused me of losing my mind, but I swore that I was fine. In that ilk. I think this could be a really funny and upbeat number, or it could be about really rotting and stewing in your misery and feeling trapped by the overwhelming enormity of your life.
Yes.
So long.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm spitting. I got all that from 2 words. Down bad. Girls, Zach Stradamus. Swiftologist Stradamus.
London is track 5. Track 5. I mean, how can you deny what this record is most likely going to be when you see this song title? It's giving turkey destruction.
Girl, you can still deny it. You can dream that it will be about the turkey all you want. But you know what? It turns out that So Long London was the red herring. It was not the calling card for the record. And I wish I could go back and give this boy a hug and be like, you know what? It's going to be okay. Something really grave and sinister is going to happen to you. And you're going to make it through. You're going to make it through. And you're going to realize that this is about Matty Healy. And you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that he was, in fact, everything to Taylor Swift at some point. And it'll be okay. And it's giving Thanksgiving cookout. It's giving we're going to unpardon the turkey. This is the greatest song ever made. I know it. And it's also giving I'm going to tell you what the has been going on because I know you've been wondering about it for a hot minute, and I've been very quiet and patient about the demise of this nonsense for a very long time. That's true. How much sad did you think I had? Just how low did you think I'd go? I mean, there is something to So Long London that is kind of like getting things off her chest. I specifically think that bridge is a very like pent up release. You swore that you love me, but where were the clues? It is kind of like about as revealing as You're Losing Me is, though. It's You're Losing Me in a different font. Like it's a little bit later of a reflection in a timeline sense. But, you know, this read,
time. London obviously became a
Genius.
place of great importance to Taylor during her Turkey Lurkey time. She spent a lot of time in 2017
Turkey
hiding
time.
out there, and also a lot
Why
of
am
the
I like
pandemic
this?
there too. That period of her life was so formative and essential, and London offered her a soft place to land, a nice refuge from everything and everyone she knew when she was being canceled back in the States. It was really symbolic of, you know, the phoenix rising from the ashes. That was the ground zero of that. And so I hope this is a song where she reckons with what she hated about London or reflects on having a place completely tainted by its association with someone who is no longer.
I'm just mad as hell because I loved this place for so long, London. I rest my case.
In your life anymore. I'm kind of superstitious about stuff like that. Like, I don't like to listen to music if I know I'm going to meet someone and it's not going to go
So
well,
true.
or if I'm reconnecting with an ex or
Fragrances,
whatever it is.
I do it
don't
with
like to
perfumes
tempt
too.
fate, you know, or I don't want to associate things that I really like with someone that may no longer be in my life anymore at the risk of them reminding me of it all the time. So I think this song could kind of be about that. But either way, we know this is a career highlight. We know that it's giving
yes,
production wise. So it's surprising that I'm saying it would be a highlight, but
Nice
I
try.
remain seated. But Daddy, I love him. That's my girl. That
Now
is
did I
the
get it
most
right?
quintessentially Taylor Swift track title I've seen since
Yes.
the song
Well,
Midnight
yes,
Rain.
see, I knew,
It's really
I
giving
knew.
old Taylor. Scott Swift's
Yes.
opinion of her men has
Oh my God,
definitely
spill.
come up time and time again in her songwriting. He is opinionated, and he often does not
I love
prove. He may
how I'm
even try
going
to stop our
immediately into the
Juliet
Scott
from
Swift
being
of
with
it
her
all.
Romeo. There is something very interesting
Well-
about how when you're truly confused or heartbroken or conflicted, you revert to like being in this childlike state of mind, and the opinions of your parents take on this outsized importance. We also know that Taylor's relationship with her parents is extremely close knit.
Okay, so he wasn't getting that, but Daddy, I Love Him was kind of just a rhetorical device. This innocent man was not going to be able to understand that Taylor was going to refer to the Speak Up Now people in a song. If you had told him that, it would have been a cardiac arrest moment. I also froze this frame on a really ugly face.
Eyes on them for basically all of her good counsel. So it wouldn't surprise me if Scott Swift had a perspective on this relationship.
Oh, well,
And I
yes,
think
it's
this
just
could be
not
a
the
song about a
relationship
come
you
to
think
Jesus
it
moment
is.
where it just hadn't been working for some time, and she'd been trying really hard to make it work. And her dad just said, you know, listen up, girl.
This is actually a run away from Jesus moment. It's not a come to Jesus moment at all. It's, you know, I know he's crazy, but I don't care. He's the one I want. I literally need to just act like a 17-year-old and burn my whole life down. And you guys are just going to have to like let me rock, and like maybe I'll let you know if it goes well. If it goes bad, I'll write a song about it. And here we are.
It's time to pack it up. Time to go home. Sometimes when you're really down bad, even when you're presented with all of the evidence that it's time to go, you simply go to a place of, but Daddy, I love him. It's giving ballad. It really is giving ballad. Fresh Out the Summer.
Ballad. I mean, I guess, but Daddy, I Love Him is a power ballad. It's not technically like an upbeat song. Is this Fresh Out the Summer?
This song is drawing a blank to me. This section of the record is
because it ain't real. Because you heard it wrong. You heard
very
it wrong.
perplexing. But it's giving fun. It's giving I don't care. I don't know why, but I'm kind of getting a hits different energy from it. Is it a you're shaking off a summer fling kind of thing? This is where my first unfortunate trigger warning, Ratty Healy alarm starts to go off. This song reminds me of that situation because it happened in close succession to the official Jover.
Now, I was kind of right about that. If there was going to be a song on the record that you were going to pick that was about Maddie Healy before actually knowing that it was, this is a big brain moment, okay? Fresh Out the Summer. However, that is what informed my assessment of this. I was like, oh, it's about the summer when she dated Maddie Healy. I mean, I think it's actually just a coincidence that I ended up being right about that.
Timeline.
Not as
I think this album is literally an album about the last 2 years, and unfortunately, the rattiest getaway car was a part of that time. And, you know, swiftly moving on to Florida, featuring Florence and the Machine. The exclamation points are really bewildering to me.
Yeah.
Does she
well,
go
the song
to
is
Florida?
bewildering,
What does she
girl.
do in Florida? I mean,
and we still don't know. And we still don't know. It's October 2024, and we still don't know.
I mean, what I'm immediately thinking of is that in the Eras tour, her first public appearance post Jover was in Florida.
Oh, you're thinking
was
too
this
much,
the official
doll.
end? It's giving
Math.
euphoric though, like operatic anthem. It's got to have that vibe if Florence and the Machine is on it. Liberation Girls.
Florida.
Guilty as Sin, question mark. When I first saw Question, the song with the ... question mark, I was like, this is going to be a flop. And I was wrong.
You were wrong.
It was the greatest song that ever was released. So
Correct.
I will never question a question mark on a Taylor Swift song ever again.
Wise decision. Wise decision, because you are about to be speaking on the greatest song ever created in the history of mankind. So watch your mouth.
Is this self-reflective? Is it aimed at someone else? Is she wondering, or is she mulling over her own culpability? Is she guilty? Is she maybe talking about infidelity or over?
Hello? Clocked. I'm sorry.
overlapping timelines, either hers or someone else's. I don't know. This is giving me a hard edge, though. Now, up next is what I think is the great.
That's all you had to say? I mean, I kind of clocked it, though. I wasn't going to get the specifics of it, but that is what the song is about. You know what? This is a lot better than I was expecting it to be. No somethingologist.
Greatest song ever recorded of all time by any person in the history of humanity. It's Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. Literally.
Oh, I forgot how excited I was about that song. I mean, I have to give it to myself. The title is such a gag. It is such a gag. And it gagged me when I heard it. It's just not very listenable to me. And I wonder if
everyone in the world got it right.
Literally
everyone in the world. Me frequently. Joe Alwyn, Heirloom Turkey, Certainly Afraid of You. This
Well,
is like
that's true.
karma, but aimed at an ex-lover instead of a group of enemies and anyone who has ever wronged her. It's more specific. I think it's going to be a very specific takedown.
It is, in fact, even more general than karma. Karma is for Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is for anyone that has ever dared to cross Taylor Swift ever in her life.
Of a particular ex where she is coyly reflecting on her own power. This is the Tay Voodoo anthem, and I'm claiming it.
Well,
she's definitely been feeling very powerful, and I would like to see her step into her villainous truth. Again,
she
we
did
have another
that.
home run. I can fix him. Brackets. No, really, I can.
Oh, I was doing so well, and then it's miss after miss. Not me saying that Who's Afraid of Little Old Me and I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can are the best songs ever created. When I'm just looking at the titles, though, I can kind of see where I was going with that. I can kind of try and understand what my vibe was going to be, but I was in fact wrong.
This kills me. Been there. Been there.
Well,
this is the funniest. I mean,
that's so
who
true.
Could this be about?
We have
Renegade
been
is
there.
immediately springing to mind. Is it insensitive for me to say get your together so that I can
he just
love
couldn't.
you?
This man just could not compute that a serious song or a song of consequence could be about Maddie Healy. It just like wasn't that deep to me. And
I guess if this is about Joe, I would be interested to know when the needing to fix him part came in. We know about his Cascade Ocean Wave blues, but we also know
tried to
that
fix
Taylor
him.
was really struggling mentally when they
Didn't
got
work.
together. I've talked before about their victim-savior complex, but then she became happy again and like started to feel very empowered and embodied in her career. And what we need to know is what happened
you
to
talking
him when
about,
that happened,
sir?
because that's truly where the growing apart happened.
you're just making
Unfortunately, I can really see this being about a certain rat as well, because
Oh,
come on,
okay.
he seems to be one of those guys that girls are.
my spidey senses were going crazy. They were saying, you know what, girl, you can say all you want. You can run around in circles with this nonsense, jabba, jabba, jabba. But you know that if we need to fix someone, it's the broken
Like
man.
very, very sadistically drawn to trying to fix girls that are attracted to the bad boy, the damaged boy. That has never really been Taylor's thing. That was her
Hasn't
first
it?
brush with dating a fixer-upper, and she quickly learned why she'll never do that again. It's giving
Well,
Say Don't
that's
Go
true.
production, and I refuse to elaborate more on that.
LO. Say Don't Go production. I must have just made that up. That's why I refuse to elaborate. In the future, if I say I refuse to elaborate, it's because I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know what I'm saying.
ML, aka Love of My Life. Why is it an acronym? What is this? Truly head empty. No thoughts on this. I thought
Yeah,
you were the love
to
of
be
my
fair.
life. You are the love of my life. Travis, Joe, Ratty. Who could it be? I can do it with a broken heart. I need to hear this. I need to hear
Yeah.
this. I need to hear it
You're
right
right.
now.
You do need to hear
It is
it.
so interesting to think of how so much of the time your greatest success comes at a great personal cost. And we know that Eras was definitely in the process of becoming a worldwide phenomenon.
Why am I always like pontificating? Is this the experience that you have when you're watching my videos? You're just like, wow, he's saying a lot of stuff about not very much.
She was
Is that
in the throes of a
experience?
brutal heartache, potentially. When you're nursing a broken heart, time moves differently. This is something that she said in the prologue on Red. Everything is just heightened and more intense, and you're so fragile and open to the world. But then we have, you know, in contrast with this, the Barbie that needs to go out on stage and project this career-spanning immense.
I mean, I'm not going to be too like braggy about understanding what I could do it with a broken heart is about, because it's pretty self-obvious. Like, that one was kind of easy to tell.
Strength, and summon also the literal physical strength to carry out this 3-hour tour de force over and over again. This could be a very rousing and inspiring track. I'm thinking it's going to have a classic Jack Ant
Rousing and inspiring. What am I, leading a
off
nation?
production, Bleachers vibes. Then we get to the track that I like need need to hear immediately. I need to hear this.
What is
the
it, Diva?
smallest man who ever lived.
Oh,
please
well, yes,
give it
you
to
do
me.
need to hear
Please,
that.
Taylor Swift, just send me a link.
You're
promise
gonna
I won't
love
share
it.
it with anyone. This is
He
the
wouldn't.
smackdown of all smackdowns. To call a straight man a small
Correct.
man is like, for some reason, inexplicably hurtful to them. It's
Yes.
infantilizing. It's
Absolutely.
emasculating. It really
And that
just
was the intention.
smacks them down to a place of crying baby.
Oh.
And you know, the quote given to the Daily Mail, I would be surprised if she would write about me. That sounds like a small man. My face was gray, but you wouldn't admit that we were sick. That sounds
Oh, see, you know, but there are smaller men, Swiftologists. There are smaller men than Joe Alwyn, if you can even believe it. And I know that in your innocent brain, you can't comprehend this yet, but
very small. I gotta hear this. I need to hear it now. I think this is either
Same.
going to be a kiss-off banger or a
I gotta go
very
listen to it after
scathing
this.
ballad. The Alchemy.
Correct.
So I think that there isn't going to be a lot of scope to discuss
What
Travis.
the hell did I
because,
have
you know,
to
that
say about
happened very
this?
recently.
Oh.
And I think that this record process is dealing with kind of more expansive and long-held
hold on. Not me saying The Alchemy is about Travis before the album even came out, contradicting one of my main points that I make all the time.
emotions. And I think that these last two songs are probably the part
contain
where we're gonna get some
multitudes.
Tavis content, if we're going to get any of it at all. Let's do a quick definition of alchemy here. The term alchemy can be used to describe any
Shut
magical
up.
power or process of transmuting a common
Shut
substance
up, girl.
into a substance of great value. Does that recall to you the way that people have been describing Tavis? It has frequently been depicted as this like larger than life great meeting of minds.
Not me fighting with myself. Not me fighting with myself. I can't fight anyone else on why I think The Alchemy is not about Travis. I'm bored of it. I'm actually ready to just give up. Like, if you think that it's about Travis, fine. I don't care. I'm over it. It's really not worth it. It's not worth the endless discussion. Do you understand how many comments I get about that? Do you understand how many like hate threads there are about me on the internet that are specifically prompted by me just saying that The Alchemy is not about Travis? Like, people have lost their minds about it. And clearly I was on the Tavis, The Alchemy brainwave before. So maybe to just save everyone the trouble, mostly myself, I should just say, The Alchemy is about Travis. I'm a Barb. I'm a The Alchemy Barb. I'm a The Alchemy Tavis Barb.
Minds and talent, two people who are just absolutely and wholeheartedly at the top of their game, intersecting and, you know, maximizing their joint slay.
Well.
It's interesting, dolls. It's interesting. And then the closing track is Clara Bow.
Clara,
and this
you
really
idiot.
gives me pause as a bookend. Clara Bow's life story is a complex and poignant narrative that reflects
It is?
both the glamour of Hollywood stardom and the profound hardships that she endured.
what do you
She
think
was
it's
the
about?
originator of the term it girl, and an it girl is someone who is very effortlessly chic and in command of their public persona,
Okay.
much to the
Yeah.
envy
Crowd goes wild at her fingertips. Okay, speak.
others. She rose to fame during the silent film era and became a symbol of the Roaring Twenties. However, her success was accompanied by personal struggles,
Not
including
however.
a lot of scandals and emotional difficulties. She retired from acting in 1933 and faced ongoing challenges with her emotional and mental health. And Clara Bow's kind of later life story from that massive success into
Where are we
her
going with
time
this?
being
I'm just
checked
giving
into
you a
sanatorium
Wikipedia lesson.
Is a public intrusion into her life that led to a nervous breakdown. This is kind of giving The Lucky One. It's kind of giving The Last Great American Dynasty.
Well, yes. I had a marvelous time ruining everything. They tell you that you're lucky, but you're so confused. I'm right.
I'm really curious to hear Taylor ruminate more thoughtfully
Say
and in
nothing
song
new.
at length. Because this is
$100
the
if you say
medium in which
nothing
she is
new.
best able to communicate, right? I want to hear more about
$500
like,
if you
what
say nothing
being the
new.
it girl means. The pressure
$1,000
of
if you say
having
nothing
the
new.
whole world like looking at you. The pressure of being the
Say
economy
it.
of like that joke they made
So-
at the Grammys.
just
that
give us a
Trevor Noah made,
lyric.
where she was walking by tables and he was
From
like,
Nothing
"Oh look,
New."
the economy just raised as Taylor Swift walked by." Like that's funny and all, but she's a person, and that's like a lot of pressure
She
to
is
apply
a
on
person.
someone.
That is a
and
lot of
when you
pressure.
add that extra layer of like personal life scrutiny on top of that professional responsibility, I imagine that this is very difficult, and she's encountering new layers
imagine,
of
right.
invasiveness as she becomes more and more famous. Final track is called The Manuscript, and my head is truly empty. So I would love if you would leave a comment.
I just said I give up. I just said I give up. I'm done with that. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing for me to end. Well, how did I do? How did I do? Not bad. Honestly, not bad. I think that looking at my Midnights predictions would be funny because I think that those are probably like a little bit more crazy because we just had zero information whatsoever. You know what? Why don't we just look at Midnights? Okay, I am going to react to my Midnights predictions because I think that these are crazier and stupider, and I guess I'm just in the mood to stare at myself some more. My everything is different. The room is different. The bed is different. The hair is different. I have a lot of lip balm on.
Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am the Swiftologist, and today
What
we are
mic
going
am
to
I
be
using?
dissecting the Midnight's track list. The full,
I hate that.
complete, and entire list has finally come out, maybe prompted by
look like a
leak
baby.
that happened earlier this week. But, you know, however it came about, we are still blessed to receive the food.
What leak?
And today I'm going to jump into the entire track list. I happened upon the phrase lavender haze when I was watching Mad Men.
Okay.
If you were in a lavender haze, that meant you were in an all-encompassing love
eyebrows look
glow,
good.
and I thought that was really beautiful. We live in the era of social media. If the world finds out that you're in love with somebody, they're going to weigh in on it. It's an assessment of her public image, her position in the culture, and her feelings as a celebrity. And I've said this before, that I think that celebrities commenting on being famous is not all that interesting, but you know, Taylor is a unique artist in that she's so famous that when she's self-referential, it's actually interesting and compelling, and there's lots to go in and mine about her personal autobiography, because she's completely set us up to follow her career in that way. We are naturally, with all of the Easter egging, interested in her thoughts
look at this
about
little
how she
smart
lives her life.
boy.
This song, this Lavender Haze conceit, really reminds me of something that we heard at the Secret Session in Nashville before she played
Oh my
Dancing with Her Hands.
God. Drinking game. How many times does Swiftologist mention that he went to a Secret Session? Enough. We get it. You met Taylor Swift. Did you guys know that I went to a Secret Session? Actually, making this video reminds me of when I went to a Secret Session, because when I was there was a camera and they took a video of me, and that just reminded me right now of making this video. So
she talked about this very frenetic anxiety that she had for months before they were discovered by the press.
I love the word frenetic. I use that all the
Daily
time.
Mail kind of interrupting this private, fragile love connection that she'd built, and how scared she was that something so meaningless and yet so powerful could come in and bulldoze the entire endeavor before she even got to see it through, as it had so many times before in her personal life, because of her stature as a huge celebrity that is known to mine her personal life.
Why am
for
I making
content.
such
So I think
intense
it's kind
eye
of
contact
telling
with the
and
camera?
revealing that she's addressing this head on. She's kind of breaking the fourth wall in a way. Whenever she references being famous or fame kind of overwhelming or intruding on her life, like in Dancing with Her Hands Tied, for example, she speaks in broad generalities, or she uses a metaphor. She doesn't really get directly at the heart of it and say, listen, I'm a celebrity and my life is really fucking weird because I have all these people watching me and I have all these people with massive expectations of me. And that's what I feel like we're going to get here that will be different from her commentary on this in the past. I think she's going to...
Okay, see, now this is when I was under the impression that we were going to be getting a standard, like, confessional revealing Taylor Swift album. This poor boy did not know that I was going to be getting the most evasive Taylor Swift narrator that we'd ever seen in the history of the world. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. And Lavender Haze kind of is and isn't about the things that I'm talking about here. It is kind of about being famous. I mean, it's about the 1950s shit they want from me. I just want to stay in that Lavender Haze. But really, Lavender Haze is about feeling ignored in a relationship more than it is about being famous and in a relationship. But I wasn't going to clock that because I thought that everything was fine. Let's move on to Maroon.
Now, track 2 is Maroon, and I talked about this in my other videos, so I'll keep it a little bit brief. I won't get into...
Wait, did I just say that I thought that Midnight's is going to be more inward looking, saying things we've never heard before? Well, I understand, dear Zachary, why you may have felt that way. I understand that you were baited and tempted into believing that this could be so, but you were gravely mistaken.
Too much detail about it here. As I mentioned, I think she might be trying to go for something a little bit more stylistically cohesive here, or narratively cohesive.
Well, that's kind of true.
One song leads into the next, and it all kind of forms a chronological story. That's my hunch, at least.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. And you're wrong, and you shouldn't say that. But you are right about the fact that it could be sonically cohesive, because Midnight's is very
Maroon, to me, at first glance, I think it's going to be a melancholy, down-tempo number. Perhaps it'll be moody with a little bit of a beat, as I discussed before. Maybe like...
Okay, moody with a little bit of a beat, a little bit down-tempo, correct.
Gold Rush. But I do think that this is perhaps about the night that Red lost Album of the Year. And I think that this is a song about self-doubt and dwelling and dreaming. At first I thought, I can't see...
It is about dwelling and dreaming, but it's about the rap.
How this would follow from Lavender Haze at all. You know, if we were going straight into that moment that is so far away from her meeting Joe. But if we're talking themes, she is a mastermind. And I am wondering if she introduces Lavender Haze as kind of the narrative construct for the entire album, while saying I've had to shut out all of these like negative opinions and influences.
Girl, you're thinking into it too much. You're thinking into it more than Taylor Swift did, and that is your problem.
Outside of myself and outside of my intuition, while I have to ignore all of those things and move forward to find something good, I think she can then, after saying that she's like arrived at a place where she's been able to block out the noise, we can go back and go through the noise and discover all of the sources of this befuddlement that she felt when she was stranded.
What are you even saying? Where is this coming from? How did I come up with this? I tell you, sometimes when I have to do prediction videos, an evil spirit comes into my body and starts speaking in tongues through me. Like, how was I saying this much about a track list? This is crazy. We need to move on to
Anti-Hero is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. I don't think I've delved this far into my securities in this detail before. The song is a real guided tour through all the things I hate about myself. I'm kind of scared of this song. She says she's never been this detailed, but to me, Mirror Ball was like truly a shocking revelation.
Yes. And you're right, dear Zachary. Mirror Ball is a shocking revelation. Anti-Hero is just a fun banger, but it will change your
very
world.
intimate confessions, things that I thought that she would never say in public for the sake of her pride. Now, that was kind of presented to us under the layer of fiction, and I think it doesn't instantly present itself as a commentary on her own celebrity unless you kind of know a little bit about Taylor and care to dig into the specifics. This is going to be more direct, I think. This is going to be unflinching. This is her Mirror Ball moment, but like, I'm not standing back and I'm not pretending that it's about something else. And I want to reiterate that it's very interesting that the
two words, sexy baby,
that she's decided to publicly address. She's given no interviews, done no promo. We have no snippets. We don't really know what's going on with this album. These two songs both deal with her position as a public figure. Can you see the panic in my face? And she states
we don't know what's going on.
It's that very clearly in her explanations of these songs. And I think she's shied away from that before for fear of sounding like she's complaining or whining or overreacting.
Well,
and I'm always on board for an extremely honest.
We need to play him, but Daddy, I love him. Ooh, he needs to hear it so bad.
Even if that can come across as a little bit out of touch sometimes, I always appreciate her being candid as long as the music is good. Most of the time I have no doubt that the music is going to be good, so that doesn't really trouble me. I just wonder, like, how are other people going to respond to this level of candidness if it's as frank as she says? And I don't think I can stress enough how rare it is for her to actually break the fourth wall in a meaningful way. It has quite literally never been done in song by Taylor Swift before. She's expressed nothing but love and gratitude for her fans and this life.
I was right. I was waiting for But Daddy I Love Him. Now, if I could have shown this person But Daddy I Love Him, he would have been gagged.
As she should, but also, it can't be easy. There are so many different competing expectations of her, and her fans place an impossibly high pressure on her to mastermind this entire plan and pay extraordinary amounts of detail to everything that she does, which has absolutely led to us overanalyzing her life and being a little bit invasive about
overanalyzing. You would know about that. You're sitting here making a 30-minute video about songs you've never heard.
Sure, I have done that.
Look in the mirror.
I have done that from time to time. I know there are others that absolutely do it.
Okay, my anti-hero moment.
And it's kind of
me. Hi.
She asked for it. She set it up this way, and she has to deal with the consequences of it. So I'm wondering if she'll address that a little bit in this song. I would be very curious. Snow on the Beach, featuring Lana Del Rey. I am so used to giving, and now I get to receive.
No, you don't. You actually don't get to receive.
I knew something was up when I saw that picture of Taylor, Jack, and Lana. I just knew that they weren't getting together to shoot the shit and read the Daily Mail. They were there to do work. And when
they were there to shoot the shit and do the Daily Mail, they actually weren't there to work. Taylor worked at a separate time, and she brought her phone with the voice memo thing out and said, Lana, can you hum into this and I'll put you on the song? And Lana said yes. That's what happened in that photo.
The Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. That's what I knew they were going to be doing, and you know what? They've come together. They've decided to achieve that goal. If you haven't been here before, I'm a huge Lana Del Rey fan, so I'm obviously...
Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. Snow on the Beach, Weird and Beautiful. Well, okay then.
Massively excited for this. I'm a little bit scared because I don't think that it can possibly live up to my expectations.
Correct.
But then again, I have no expectation because I can't picture what a Lana and Taylor collab would sound like beyond that mashup of Wildest Dreams and Without You when everyone was trying to accuse Taylor of ripping Lana off. I'm mostly excited though, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. I have a feeling
look
it's
at this poor, naive,
poetic
excited boy.
And the elemental vibe of it. I really think that it's going
dreamy,
to be a spidey sense that tells me Terrence Loves You had something to do with the creation of this song. So I think that it's going to be...
That's not a spidey sense. It's a demon. It's a demon. And you should never let it possess you again because it will only set you up for failure.
Dreamy, very ethereal. I think it's highly unlikely it's going to be an upbeat number.
Dreamy and ethereal,
I'll
give you that.
It's going to be entirely more mid-tempo,
oh my God, when we had the sides,
reflective, kind of a spoiler
alert.
Thought
that
what
meant
I think
something.
Side A is be. So Snow on the Beach is such a beautiful title to me, and I actually claimed this as my song before it was announced that Lana Del Rey was the feature on it. Once I saw the leak, I sent out a little tweet, and I was like, you know what?
Tasteless.
I'm claiming Snow on the Beach.
This is back when I was on Twitter. Oh my God.
Because obviously this is going to be my song, the one that I love the most off this album, hopefully.
Well, I have horrible news for you. You are not clairvoyant at all. In fact, you are delusional.
But Snow on the Beach is interesting because we don't really think of like the beach as a cold place.
I don't think I've ever spoken about Snow on the Beach for this period of time, this length, despite having it actually exist. So this is amazing. What a skill.
Not be terrorized by the public who
I don't know
every
him.
single day of your life. You might like to go and be alone on a cold beach. Hard to convince the paparazzi or busybodies
Shut
to
up.
stake out on the cold ass beach. They're not going to be able to survive those elements. You can
You
go and
suck.
steal your 15, 20 minutes of
Get a new
solitary
act.
alone time and connect
Pack
with
it
a force
up,
greater than you
Flaw.
without any interruption. And because we are, I
You're
think on
terrible.
side A, exploring Taylor's relationship to fame and the
No
different
one
ways
wants
that it's
to hear
kind of
this.
chipped at her armor or maybe damaged her over
How
the
is
years. I
still
think that this is going to be a
talking?
moment
Shut
maybe
up.
based on like a moment from the Rhode Island house. I think it'll have an East Coast walkie
saying?
vibe, old money, a scene from a winter's night spent at the Rhode Island home, ruminating.
What the hell? What the hell am I talking about? Girl, this is what happens when you get your hopes up. You go to strange and disturbing places.
Now we're getting into even greater shit. Track 5, You're on Your Own, Kid. So this
Now
is the big
cook.
number. This is the big shit.
It is.
This is the
You're
crime
right.
song, for lack of a better
Absolutely.
term. Honestly, this is a really interesting title. I think it sounds like something that was said to her, something with kind of like a paternal vibe to it, or maybe
Yeah, a
even
little
an
bit.
inner voice or an omniscient voice, like God giving you this feeling, like, damn, okay, this
Oh
is
my
the
God,
moment
you're so
where
smart,
I have to
sociologist.
be
We're
by
so
myself
back.
and stand on my own 2 feet
We're
and take
back.
on the world, because who else is going to do it for me? No one.
We are so back. Thank God. Thank God.
My first instinct when I heard this was to think that it's picking up where Never Grow Up left off. So moving into her Nashville
Kind
apartment for
of.
the first time all those years ago. And the themes
Yeah.
she addressed there
Speak.
were the passage of time, getting older, gaining independence, and they were kind of conveyed through
Tick,
this very
tick, tick.
confused perspective of her singing to a child's friend. Like the POV is really hard to trail through the song itself.
It
but I think
is,
she was circling
actually.
the drain in that song and not really getting at the real details, how she really felt about
Which
leaving home
was?
and what the situation she was leaving to move out behind was like. Scott and Andrea's marital issues have been present pretty much since Taylor
Oh my God, not
debuted, and
there.
around Speak Now when Never Grow Up was written.
Not the Scott and Andrea's marital issues on your own, kid. Girl, this bitch has lost his mind.
And she moved out by herself. I believe they had their divorce. And I've always been super curious to know how her relationship with her parents has impacted her ability to function as an adult. And perhaps this will shed some
Well,
light
that's
on
none of
that.
your
Now, that is
business.
completely speculation, of course.
It is.
I could be totally wrong.
Shut
and
up.
missing the mark.
I
and
wouldn't say that
overstepping,
today.
But
You are.
I'm curious. What can I
Silence.
say? I can also see something here
Okay.
with Scott
Say
Borchetta,
that.
who was definitely a father figure to her. That's something she's mentioned. Perhaps something about the renegotiating of her deal. She thought it was going to go one way, but in fact it went the other, and there was this ultimate betrayal. I could also see this about the night after she got home from her Billboard
Girl, how
Women in
many
Music
ideas
speech
do
in
you have?
2019. That was a really awkward speech, and it went
Where
down
do you have the
really
energy and the
badly.
time?
Go
You were
watch it.
working
Her
a
delivery
full-time
was
job.
Strange. It was not well received
While
in the
doing
room.
this.
She noted that Scooter Braun was evil, and she also noted that many people in that room.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm speculating because this is when Taylor had just told us that it was about like all the different nights in her life. Like it was mining through her past. So I was speculating on which nights would be about what songs, which again, she's so evil for saying that because that is really not, I don't think that you can specifically assign like different nights to most of these songs. They're actually pretty much all about like one or the other, same thing.
Track 6, Midnight Rain. I've talked about this one
Okay,
in my other
diva.
video too. I'm extremely excited to hear this. This one
Yes,
is the
you
most obvious
are.
call out to a younger, wider-eyed version of Taylor. It gives me Fearless the sequel, nostalgic vibes. And also it's interesting because
I mean,
it's
it
where
kind of
side A ends
does.
and side B begins. So if we're doing a tonal shift towards the
We're
sweeter
not.
dream, I guess this is
It's so funny to me that we also thought that Taylor had some like huge big plan for Midnights. Not only was she writing about all these different nights in her life, she also had the side split very specifically to show us a message. Girl,
where it all kicks off, and perhaps
It was a
this is
Spotify
bringing us
playlist,
into a
basically.
more upbeat, up-tempo, and forward-looking perspective. Maybe going back into the past
not
and reaching
really.
for the things that she appreciates or remembers fondly, rather than just the things that kept
Wrong.
her up or made her feel bad. Some other
No.
track 6s that are also bops: You Belong With Me, I Think He Knows, Look What You Made Me Do,
Well, it's
Shake
not
It
a
Off.
bop,
There are a
so
lot of
let's
bangers in
start
this
there.
category. I am hoping for a banger here. Track 7, I can't even talk about this song again. Question,
Oh.
question mark. I addressed this
you are so wrong, you little rat. You ungrateful little rat. You have no idea the amount of poison you're about to spew onto the internet.
But this one is truly terrifying to me because it conjures no direct images in my head of anything.
That's
There's actually another
because
song
you can't conceive of the greatness that you will receive. You don't know that you're about to hear Taylor Swift speaking in tongues, just like you're doing right
that
now.
was recently announced that also had that effect on me. But head empty on this. Is she talking to a lover, a friend, a foe? I don't know, but perhaps this is another
Wouldn't you like to know? It's just a question.
Bookend of sorts, the beginning of the next section of whatever theme we're going to be getting into here.
No theme.
And the song titles
No
from here on
theme.
out are kind of wacky and out there. They're very dreamy in the sense that they make absolutely no sense on first glance.
There
They
you
don't
go.
really conjure anything
Lean
specific
into
in your
that.
brain.
Lean away from
But
the
the track listings
plan.
of the past don't make any hints for this either. Miss Americana, So It Goes, I Wish You Would, I Almost Do, The Story of Us, Breed 7. What do they have in common? Nothing. Track number 8 is Vigilante Shit. And I also discussed this in the prior video. Sorry, we're having a 3-streak run of songs I've already discussed. But I think this is the real beginning of the tonal shift. The songs before this are drenched in contemplation. And
not
to
really.
me, this is like, okay, I'm an adult woman now. And I'm angry. And I've been angry.
Yes.
And I've
Well,
been lashing out. I just
say
was
that.
being a little classy and keeping it to
Speak,
myself. But
speak,
no
speak.
more. No more. You get to hear straight from the horse's mouth how much I hate some. And I think this is where
You're right.
she starts responding to things that she's bitten her tongue about before. Doing vigilante shit is seeking an informal mechanism to justice. So fucking shit up, basically. And
Oh, I
think
used to
this
love
might
to
be
swear
about
in my
re-recording her
videos. This
masters,
is before they
wanting
started
to
demonetizing
keyword
me.
Scooby-Doos. I'm hyped to hear this song. I think it's going to
Yes.
make a big impact.
course she
I'm
wants to
expecting
keyword
kind of a
them.
closure style production here. Some of the other track 8.
A closure style production. I'm not no. Not no.
Track 9 is Bejeweled, and I was really taken by this title
Were
as
you?
well. Could this be a sequel to the legendary track
Meanwhile,
9,
it's like the
Enchanted?
simplest song ever.
I mean, I
I'm
hope
still
so. Bejeweled is
bejeweled.
definitely giving me a sweet dream vibe for sure, and it's giving me La La Land. I'm
I can still make the whole place shimmer.
in love. I love being in love, and the world through
Okay,
rose-colored glasses
Queenie.
when I'm in love. Also, I'm sensing an upbeat banger here. I just feel it in my bones.
Okay,
This
you're
could
right
be a
about that.
metaphor. As I've said before, I think this second half is going to be addressing much more recent events, like the master situation. I keep bringing it up because I think there's so much to unpack there, and I'm wondering if perhaps she'll be talking about her value in this song. Could it be like a swag, like braggadocious
Yes.
song, like all my
It
shit is
is.
bejeweled, I turn my paper into
You are so close to it. I made you my world. Have you heard? I can reclaim the land. I miss you, but I miss sparkling. Yes,
gold.
you're right.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I think
And
that,
you're-
that could be a really
keep
cool
doing it,
way
girl.
to incorporate a track title like this into something we wouldn't expect from her. Track 10
Yeah.
is Labyrinth, and listen, there's no way we're getting an album about sleepless nights without diving into something from the Bleachella Getaway Car era. It's just
Correct.
inevitable at this point. There is so much untapped content there. That
I'm gonna
we
stand by
simply
that.
must extract from her brain. And
thought the flame was
first thing
going
that
down.
came to
How'd
my
you turn it
mind
all
when I
around?
heard this track
Joe.
was another moment from the Secret Session, and this was before
Oh my
Getaway Car,
God.
when she took pain
Take a shot every time Switchologist mentions he went to a secret session. For sake.
to describe how her relationship with Calvin Harris was something that she just couldn't claw her way out of, no matter how many times she tried, no matter how many different ways she tried, and it was also only going to end one way, in disaster, her getting into that getaway car. And this is going to be a song about a journey, taking wrong turns and stumbling. And
Is it?
A labyrinth is different to a maze in that labyrinths all lead to one place, the center, the destiny.
You're
I
overthinking
suppose.
it again.
Mazes can branch off and go in different
When you put more thought into Taylor Swift's track lists than Taylor Swift does herself, I mean, I have to give it up to myself.
directions and have different exit points. Hero's Journey
You're
tales from
delusional.
Greek mythology often. Track 11, Karma. Now, I also have a whole video.
Oh,
that
this is when I was
literally
really on
just
my
dedicated
Karma,
to this
the
song,
album
so
isn't
please go and
real.
review it. But, to summarize, this is not proof that Karma, the lost album, exists. I really
Correct.
think that she's trolling us. I'm very convinced that this is going to be a bait and switch situation. She's calling
Correct.
it Karma to lure us in, but it's going to cover different terrain. It's not going to be about Snapgate or Kim Ye or anything that happened
Snapgate.
during that period of time.
Snakegate,
Maybe
sir.
adjacent, but I don't think directly. I really think that this one is likely about Scooter Braun because
Correct.
Taylor has a one-track mind and she has not yet avenged herself by finishing all of her
This little
re-recordings. And
genius.
she also has not really addressed the situation through song ever before.
So
I think
true.
she's going to miss the opportunity to bring it up now.
Oh,
in one of her
no.
biggest releases in years.
Hell
her
no.
formal return to like pop
She
stardom
would
after her indie
never.
folk era. No, she's going to make full maximum value of the shot that she is able to take here. Everyone is on her side.
As
and don't you
she
think
should.
that it's really interesting?
God, remember when there was a time where you could say everyone is on her side? I want what he has.
And kind of suspicious that Scooter Braun very recently changed his whole tune about how it all went down with Taylor a couple weeks ago in a pretty high profile interview. Coincidentally, before Midnights was supposed to drop. I mean, maybe he got wind that something unflattering or a little confessional is going to
vigilante shit.
appear in an upcoming record by a certain artist that he may have pissed off. Production-wise, I know that this is going to fucking bang. I do think this will have a reputation influence sonically. I'm just getting that feeling.
I think so, a little bit. It kind of has a "this is why we can't have nice things"
maybe
moment.
It'll feel like a Max Martin number. I'm really getting an I did something bad from this. And another track 11 that people seem to be pointing to a lot with this one is Innocent. I personally think that she's kind of over bringing up the Kanye thing, but I am always proven wrong. So perhaps
you
Karma
are
is entirely about Kanye West.
You
It's
always want to
definitely
think
on
that
the
she's
table
over
of
it, but she
possibilities.
never
Track 12
is.
is Sweet Nothing, and this is the other song that does not conjure many images to me.
Well,
I like this title, and one thing that I immediately noticed about this was you think sweet nothings is what this song would be referencing, like the phrase you whisper sweet nothings into someone's ear. It's this intimate kind of
I was really
throwaway
obsessed with
thing
that.
It's very confessional and private.
I remember
people,
being like,
this
this is so real and true.
But it's not plural. It's sweet nothing, not sweet nothings. And it seems intentional that she's taken a common.
This is just me not knowing what to say because I didn't have an idea, so I'm just spitting. Well, that was funny. I was ready to punch myself by the end of it. Watching yourself on screen is no fun. It's no fun. That was interesting. I definitely was spitting at some points. I think I probably clocked more of Torture Poets than Midnights, but like Midnights, we just had no clue what was going on. Like there was just no precedent for it. So I wasn't thinking this is going to be a covert secret breakup album. That really was not on my mind. It was not on my mind. I was thinking more Folklore Evermore, like reaching into the past. And there was a little bit of that, but not a lot. Anyway, if you like this video, leave a comment and let me know if you want to see more of me reacting to myself. And I will see you in my next one. Goodbye, Swifties.